Welcome to Living Your Senior Life, the podcast where we explore practical tips and strategies to help you live your best life. We're here to share information that empowers you to stay active, independent, and confident as you age. Today, we're talking about something that affects confidence, independence, and everyday movement: balance. As we get older, changes in muscle strength, vision, medications, and certain health conditions can make us feel a little less steady on our feet. And if you've ever felt dizzy, wobbly, or concerned about falling, you are definitely not alone. In this episode, we'll explore some of the most common causes of balance problems in older adults, early warning signs to pay attention to, and practical steps you can start using to support strength, stability, and safer movement in daily life. This isn't about perfection or pushing your body. It's about simple, realistic habits that help you feel more secure, more confident, and more in control. As a reminder, the information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always talk with your doctor or healthcare provider before starting any new exercise or wellness routine, especially if you have medical conditions or concerns. So grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, settle in, and let's talk about ways to build better balance at any age.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We spent our time going through some really complex source material to pull out the clearest, most actionable insights just for you. And today we're focusing on a foundational skill. It's something we all take for granted, until it's challenged.
Yeah, until you suddenly have to think about it.
Exactly. We're talking about balance. It is the absolute cornerstone of independence, of confidence, and just quality of life, especially as we age.
And our mission for this deep dive is, well, it's very clear. We're unpacking the essential components, everything from physical changes in the body, the surprising effects of common medications, to even simple things you can change in your home.
Right, to give you a complete picture.
Exactly. If you want a shortcut to being really well informed about minimizing fall risk and maximizing stability, you are definitely in the right place.
And before we dive deep into the mechanisms, let's just set the table with the key takeaway here. Balance problems are almost never just one single thing. They're more like a complex cocktail.
Right. A mix of muscle weakness, maybe some medication side effects, changes in your vision or your inner ear.
Or even underlying health issues. But the fantastic news, and the sources really highlight this over and over again, is that this is highly manageable.
It is. Consistency in strength and stability work, a proactive medication review, and some smart home safety updates can genuinely reverse or at least significantly improve stability at any age.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start?
Let's start at the core, with the physical reality of the aging process. I mean, your body is constantly fighting gravity, and over time, that fight just gets a little bit harder.
And the sources pinpoint two major challenges that happen at the same time. First, there's that natural decrease in muscle strength.
Especially in the core, the glutes, the legs.
Right. If your foundation is weak, the whole structure is going to be shaky.
But the second part, and this is maybe even more critical, is the slowing of our reaction time. Think about it like this. You trip over a little ripple in a rug, or someone bumps your elbow. A younger nervous system makes those tiny, instantaneous corrections without you even knowing.
Subconsciously, yeah.
As we age, that processing speed slows down, and those essential corrections become harder to execute fast enough to stop a fall.
And this is where the sources get into a really key psychological mechanism. It's deeply impactful. Poor balance doesn't just increase the risk of falling, it kicks off this powerful negative feedback loop. They call it the fear cycle.
Exactly, the fear cycle. We've established the physical decline, but the research shows that once someone has a fall, or even just a close call,
A near fall.
that fear of falling becomes this potent driver of even more physical decline. People naturally start limiting their activity.
So they stop going on walks, they avoid the stairs.
They won't pick up their grandkids, they stop going out to social events. It's a huge change.
So in an effort to be safer, they actually become fundamentally weaker.
Precisely. That reduced movement leads directly to weaker muscles, less flexible joints, which then further compromises their actual physical balance.
Making the next fall more likely.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the whole point of the material we analyzed is to show that this cycle of decline is absolutely reversible. You just have to intervene with the right exercises and strategies.
Okay, so we need to interrupt that cycle. Let's start with the root causes then. Underlying medical conditions seem like a big one.
They often create systemic instability. Certain chronic health conditions just directly interfere with the body's ability to stay steady. Take diabetes, for example. Over time, it can cause nerve damage or neuropathy, which really diminishes the sensation in your feet.
So if you can't accurately feel the ground, your brain is getting unreliable information about where you are.
Exactly. And then you have conditions like Parkinson's disease, which affects motor control and coordination, leading to unsteadiness.
And what about circulatory issues?
Right. Conditions like heart disease or low blood pressure are significant. If your blood pressure drops too quickly when you stand up.
Oh, that head rush feeling.
Yes, it's called orthostatic hypotension.
Hmm?
You get dizzy, lightheaded, and that immediately compromises your balance. We also see major impacts from things like stroke and arthritis.
So moving from chronic conditions to daily habits, let's talk about the medication factor. This one seems like a stealthy culprit.
It really is. And one finding that jumped out at us was how broad the impact is. It's not just heavy-duty prescription drugs.
That's a crucial point. It's amazing how many people experience these subtle balance side effects from really common medications.
Blood pressure drugs, for instance, they're essential. But if the dosage is a bit too high or they interact with another drug, they can cause those lightheaded episodes we just talked about.
And then there are the things that are literally designed to slow you down.
Sedatives, muscle relaxers, certain pain medications, even some over-the-counter sleep aids. They're designed to relax your nervous system.
Which means a slower reaction time.
A slower reaction time and compromised stability. So if you notice any change in your balance after starting, stopping, or changing any medication, that warrants an immediate call with your pharmacist or doctor.
Okay, so now let's look at the body's own GPS, the sensory systems. Vision is obviously important, but how specifically does it fail us as we age?
Well, the sources highlight that it's more than just blurry vision. Aging eyes struggle with contrast sensitivity and slower adjustment from light to dark.
So it's harder to see the edge of a curb, for instance.
Exactly. Your eyes provide something like 80% of the input for balance. So if you have uncorrected vision or cataracts, your eyes are sending unreliable data to your brain.
Which makes navigating a dimly lit hallway a real challenge.
A huge challenge. Regular eye exams and updated prescriptions are incredibly effective solutions here.
And the other side of that sensory coin is the inner ear, the vestibular system.
Right. Think of the inner ear as your body's gyroscope. It's filled with fluid and tiny hairs that tell your brain about head movement, about gravity.
So what goes wrong there?
Well, inner ear infections, vertigo, or a condition called BPPV can all cause intense unsteadiness because your brain is just getting faulty data.
But the good news here is that these often respond really well to specific treatments.
Remarkably well, yes. Specialized rehabilitation can make a huge difference.
So finally, on this section, who is most vulnerable? What does a high-risk profile look like?
Muscle weakness, especially in the hips and legs, is the #1 physical compromise. But the research lists 4 key risk factors you should really pay attention to.
Okay.
Limited physical activity, taking 4 or more different medications daily.
That's called polypharmacy, right?
That's it, polypharmacy. Then having chronic health conditions like diabetes and, of course, a history of previous falls or frequent near falls. If you check any of those boxes, you need to be proactive.
And being proactive means knowing when to worry. The sources give a pretty clear triage system for this.
They do. Let's start with the gradual changes, the ones that should trigger a standard medical appointment. If you notice a gradual or increasing unsteadiness, or new dizziness after changing a medication, or frequent near falls, or just ongoing lightheadedness that's affecting your daily life.
These are things to schedule a non-emergency review for.
Exactly. To adjust prescriptions or maybe get a referral to a physical therapist.
But when does a balance problem become an immediate red flag? An emergency?
You seek urgent care immediately if the balance problems are sudden or severe. And crucially, if the unsteadiness is accompanied by other serious symptoms.
Like what?
Weakness, fainting, sudden confusion, chest pain, trouble speaking, a severe headache, or sudden vision changes.
So those are classic signs of something acute, like a stroke.
Or a severe cardiovascular event. They require immediate medical assessment, no question.
That distinction is so vital. Okay, so we've cataloged the risks and the red flags. Let's get to the good news. What specific steps do the sources say make the biggest difference?
The central, unifying strategy is consistent, targeted movement.
And the sources go beyond just get more exercise? They highlight practices like Tai Chi or yoga.
Yes, because they're particularly effective. They focus on slow, mindful transitions, shifting your center of gravity. That practice translates directly into real-world stability.
And the general recommendation is still there. Aim for about 30 minutes of moderate activity most days.
Walking, swimming, gardening, it all counts. It all maintains that essential muscle strength.
But we have to emphasize strength training too.
Oh, absolutely. You need to build core and leg strength at least twice a week. Simple exercises like chair squats, where you stand up and sit down repeatedly without using your hands, makes a huge difference.
Right, because that helps you transition safely between sitting and standing.
Exactly. And beyond movement, there's just necessary health maintenance. Stay hydrated. Dehydration is a huge, common cause of dizziness.
Maintain a healthy weight, review those medications, keep up with vision and hearing checkups.
And here's the quick win I love because it uses dead time. Integrate mini balance checks into your day.
How so?
The sources suggest doing balance work while you're doing other routine things. Stand on one foot while you brush your teeth.
Or do heel raises while waiting for the coffee to brew.
Exactly. It doesn't require a special gym session. It just becomes part of your routine.
Let's get really actionable now. Can you walk us through the specific beginner balance routine detailed in our source material?
Absolutely. But first, always safety first. Practice near a counter or a wall for support in a well-lit area and wear non-slip shoes.
Okay, got it.
First up, the single leg stance. This is the foundation. Use a counter for support, stand tall, and just lift one foot slightly.
How long do you hold it?
Hold for about 10 to 15 seconds and try to reduce your grip on the counter as you get more stable. This really helps your proprioception, your body's sense of its position.
Okay, number 2.
Second, the heel-to-toe walk. This is crucial for walking stability. Think of it like walking on a tightrope.
Heel of one foot right in front of the toes of the other.
Exactly. Move slowly, deliberately, and practice near a wall for support. This is great for navigating narrow spaces.
Okay, number 3.
Third is the sit-to-stand. This focuses on the strength for daily transitions. Use a sturdy, non-rolling chair. Sit, scoot forward a bit, and press through your heels to stand up slowly.
Without pushing off with your hands.
Without your hands, yes. Then lower yourself back down with that same slow control. This builds real hip and leg power.
And finally,
heel raises. This builds strength in your calves and ankles, which are the spring system for your balance.
so just hold onto a counter and rise up on the balls of your feet.
Lift slowly, pause at the top, and lower back down with control. Aim for maybe 10 to 15 reps.
Now, what if someone is doing these consistently but still feels unsteady?
That's when the sources strongly recommend seeking specialized professional support.
We mentioned physical therapy, but what about those inner ear problems? What exactly is vestibular rehabilitation?
It's a specialized therapy that focuses on recalibrating that inner ear gyroscope we talked about. It often involves specific head and eye movements to help the brain adapt.
Like the Epley maneuver for vertigo.
Sometimes, yes. Or habituation exercises that train the brain to ignore the faulty signals. It's highly effective for many types of dizziness.
And we shouldn't forget occupational therapy.
No, because they focus heavily on adapting your daily activities and, crucially, optimizing the home environment.
Which brings us directly to the home. This is probably the easiest risk factor to control.
It's the ultimate preventative measure. Start in the bathroom. A huge percentage of falls happen there.
Grab bars.
Yes, professionally anchored grab bars near the toilet and in the shower, not suction cups. Use non-slip mats, and honestly, consider a shower chair if standing is a struggle.
Okay, what's next? Lighting. Why is quality lighting so important?
It goes back to that contrast sensitivity issue. You need bright, even lighting everywhere. For stairs and hallways, use night lights, but also think about putting contrasting tape on the edges of the steps.
So your eyes can actually judge the depth.
Especially at night, yes. If the steps just blend into the carpet, it's a real hazard.
And then the essential hazard removal checklist.
Get rid of all loose rugs. Just remove them. Secure every cord. Clear all clutter from walkways.
And for stairs.
If you have stairs, install sturdy handrails on both sides, not just one. Make sure they run the full length of the staircase.
And there was a great piece of advice for avoiding that risky bend and reach scenario.
Yes. Store the things you use most often. In the kitchen, the bedroom at waist level.
Keep things in the power zone.
Exactly. Between your hips and shoulders. It avoids excessive bending or reaching up on an unstable stool, which reduces risk dramatically.
Okay, we've covered a lot. From the complexity of the problem to the clarity of the solutions, let's bring it all back together for the final takeaways.
The main thing is that balance problems are complex, yes. They involve muscles, sensory systems, medications, but they are highly manageable.
And consistency in safe, targeted exercise and proactive home safety are the absolute keys.
They are non-negotiable. And we know the question listeners are probably asking.
How long does this take?
Right. And our sources are very encouraging on this. If you commit to being consistent, most people notice a meaningful improvement in their confidence and stability within about 4 to 6 weeks of regular exercise.
4 to 6 weeks, that's really fast.
It is. The critical point is that many balance problems can be significantly improved, even reversed. It's not just an inevitable decline.
And so here is the final thought for you to take with you today, and this comes directly from the conclusion of our source material. The single biggest barrier to improvement is the belief that it's too late to start. It is never too late.
Never.
Even the smallest steps, like dedicating 90 seconds a day to that single leg stance while holding the kitchen counter or calling your pharmacy for a medication review, those are meaningful, tangible investments.
It's an investment in a more active, more confident future.
A more independent future. Don't feel you have to fix everything at once. Pick just one thing from this deep dive and start today.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I hope this conversation helped you feel a little more informed, a little more supported, and maybe even a bit more confident about taking steps toward better balance in your daily life. Remember, improving balance isn't about doing everything at once. Even small changes like practicing a simple exercise, making your home a little safer, or talking with your doctor about symptoms can make a meaningful difference over time. If you enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, we'd love for you to share it with a friend or family member who might benefit from it. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow Living Your Senior Life so you don't miss future episodes on staying healthy, active, and independent as you age. You'll also find more resources, articles, and helpful guides on the website at livingyourseniorlife.com, including the full post that inspired today's episode. Thank you again for listening and for being part of this community. And as always, until next time, take care of yourself and live your best senior life.